Have you ever walked into, say, a bustling sports bar, maybe a big corporate conference room, or even just pictured that dream home theater setup,
Hmm.
and you see that wall of TVs, all showing different things, maybe sometimes the same thing?
Yeah, it looks impressive, but you know it's got to be complicated behind the scenes.
Right. And if you're like me, you immediately think, okay, how are they actually managing all that? How do they just switch, a specific game onto one TV without juggling like 5 different remotes?
Or calling for tech support every time.
Exactly. Without needing some tech wizard on speed dial.
But it's a really common problem, actually. You've got maybe tons of video sources, think like 16 direct TV boxes or cable receivers,
Wow, okay.
all needing to potentially go to, say, 16 different screens. It can get chaotic
I
fast.
can imagine.
And for the staff who aren't tech experts, it can be a nightmare. They just need something quick, intuitive,
Yeah.
something that avoids all that frustration.
That's precisely the challenge we're going to dive into today. We're doing a deep dive into a really, I think, clever piece of technology designed to slice right through that complexity. It's the WolfPack 4K 30Hz 16x16 HDMI Matrix Switch.
And the WolfPad Tablet Control System.
By
Can't forget
yourself.
that part.
Ah, yes, with its integrated WolfPad Tablet Control System. Good catch.
That's the key.
So our mission here is to unpack how this system, which comes from HDTV Supply, basically gives you a shortcut to understanding this whole sophisticated video distribution thing.
Right.
We'll look at what it does at its core. It's a pretty unique approach to user control and why it's really built for those aha moments,
I'm sorry.
especially for people managing complex AV but who aren't, engineers.
Exactly. It's about making powerful tech genuinely easy to use.
Get ready to see how that works.
What's really interesting, I think, is that this isn't just about the hardware moving signals around. Fundamentally, it's about simplifying a really tricky operational task for regular people.
Yeah.
Think about that sports bar again. 16 sources, 16 TVs. Without a good system, managing that, it's a huge time sink. It pulls staff away from, well, serving customers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the real question it solves is, how do you let anyone, the owner, a bartender, the hostess, control this whole setup instantly and, importantly, feel confident doing it?
Right, making the complex stuff just disappear for the user. That seems key.
Exactly.
And the heart of that, the engine driving it, that must be the hardware itself, right?
That's the foundation.
So what is actually powering this? What is the WolfPack 4K 30Hz 16x16 HDMI Matrix Switch?
Okay, so at its core, it's what's called a matrix switcher.
Matrix Switcher, got it.
Yeah. Think of it like a central hub, maybe like a really smart traffic controller, but for your video and audio signals.
Okay.
It takes high-definition audio and video from any of its 16 HDMI sources.
So cable boxes, Blu-ray players, streaming sticks, whatever.
Exactly. Any of those 16 inputs. And it routes them to any of its 16 HDMI displays, your TVs or projectors.
Ah, so any input to any output. That's the matrix part.
That's the key. Total flexibility. One input can go to one specific TV. That same input could go to all 16 TVs simultaneously.
Wow.
Or you can have, any mix you need across all the screens. Game 1 on TVs 144, Game 2 on 58, News on 9. You get the idea.
Total control.
Total control. And it's specified as a true 4K 30Hz system. That means it handles that high-res 4K video, giving you a really sharp, clear picture, perfect for sports, presentations, anything detailed.
Okay, so it's definitely not just some simple splitter then. It's a proper routing system.
Definitely not. It's much more sophisticated.
What about the physical box itself? Is it some giant thing? Where does it live?
No, it's actually designed for professional installs. It comes in a sturdy metal case, built for what's called a 1RU rack mount.
1RU?
Yeah, that's a standard, fairly compact size.
Yeah.
It fits neatly into equipment racks you often see in commercial spaces or, series home setups. Keeps things tidy.
Right, keeps it out of the way.
Exactly. And it has the standard connections you'd expect, like RS-232 and Ethernet ports.
Which means?
Well, it means it can talk to other control systems if needed, or you can connect it to your network for, say, remote management or control. So you have options beyond just standing in front of it.
Okay, that makes sense for integration. Now, you mentioned 4K, but what about all the other technical stuff? HDMI 1.4, HCCP 1.4. What does that mean for me watching the screen?
Good question. Yeah, that jargon can be a bit much.
Yeah.
Basically, things like HDMI 1.4 and HTCP 1.4 compliance mean it's built to the right standards. It'll work smoothly with pretty much any modern TV or source you plug in. No weird compatibility issues, hopefully.
Good at plug-and-play reliability.
Pretty much. And HDCP is the copy protection standard, so it handles protected content like movies correctly.
Huh.
It also supports things like deep color, 30, 36, 48-bit color.
Meaning
Richer, more vibrant colors on screen. Just a better picture overall. And it's not just visuals. The audio side is strong, too. Supports formats like LPCM 7.1 surround sound, Dolby True HD, DTS HD master audio.
So the fancy home theater sound formats.
Yep, you get that crystal clear, immersive audio to match the great picture, whether it's the roar of the crowd or dialogue in a movie.
Okay, so built tough, integrates well, top-notch picture and sound. What about switching speed? Because nobody likes that lag when you change channels.
Huge point. Yeah, nobody wants to wait.
Yeah.
The system boasts a pretty fast response time, they say, around 2 seconds for an input switch.
2 seconds. That's pretty quick for routing complex signals.
It is. And in a busy place like a bar, when someone asks to change the game, 2 seconds feels instant compared to, waiting 10 or 15. It really smooths out the experience.
Definitely. Okay, so the hardware foundation sounds incredibly solid, really capable, but you hinted earlier that the real magic, the user-friendliness, comes from something else.
That's where the WolfPad comes in.
Right, the WolfPad Tablet Control.
This is what takes it from being just a powerful box to being a genuinely accessible system. It's the interface layer that makes all that power easy to handle.
So this is where it really differentiates itself. Tell us about that WolfPad approach.
Absolutely. The documentation is really clear on this. It's explicitly designed, and I'm almost quoting here, to be used by sports bar owners with technical knowledge, waitresses with technical knowledge.
Wait, waitresses? Seriously?
Seriously. Hostesses with technical knowledge, bartenders with technical knowledge, DJs with technical knowledge, and other similar employees.
Wow. So literally anyone.
That's the goal. Anyone who needs to change what's on the screens but isn't an AV pro. The core idea is this incredibly intuitive control. It all runs off a single iPad page.
One page for 16 inputs and 16 outputs.
One page. They claim users can learn how to operate it in just 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, that sounds like a game changer, especially for places with high staff turnover or just busy environments.
It really is. Think about training time just plummeting and staff feeling confident, not intimidated.
So how does it work on that one page? What makes it so simple?
A really clever part is the remote simulation. You can actually change channels on your DirecTV boxes or cable boxes directly from the iPad screen.
Like you see a virtual remote control.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It mimics the layout or key functions of the standard remotes for those devices. And it supports streaming boxes, too, if they have their own remotes.
Right.
It brings all that control into one single interface.
So no more hunting for the right physical remote.
Exactly. That whole pile of remotes behind the bar, gone. Or at least not needed for basic channel changes and routing. It's a huge relief in a busy place.
I can see that. And for the owner or the manager, what are the big operational wins here? Besides, happier staff.
Well, one of the big promises they make is you will never be called at home and asked how you control the matrix.
Huh. That alone might be worth the price for some owners.
Right. It aims to eliminate that employee frustration, let them focus on customers, not fighting the tech. And crucially, there are no monthly or yearly fees for the WolfPad control system itself.
Ah, okay. So it's a one-time purchase for the hardware and the control software license.
Seems like it. It comes as part of the package. In a world where everything is becoming a subscription, that's a pretty attractive point. Predictable cost.
No ongoing software fees. That is a strong point. Okay, let's dive back into some of the functional details. What else makes it flexible?
Well, we touched on the any input to any output flexibility. Any source can definitely go to multiple displays simultaneously. Perfect for mirroring the main event everywhere.
Right, or showing different things in different zones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And any TV can view any source at any time. It also handles something called ED management really well.
EDID. What's that?
Basically, it's how a display tells a source device what resolutions and features it supports. This matrix is smart about EDID. There's like 23 different EDID settings it can use, including learning from the connected TVs or using built-in ones.
Meaning it avoids those handshake problems, where a source and display don't quite sync up right.
Exactly. It helps ensure you get a stable picture automatically without having to manually configure things. It's trying to be clever and just work.
That sounds incredibly useful. No more blank screens or weird resolutions just because you plugged in a different TV.
That's the goal. Make setup and changes much smoother.
So daily use, installation. How does that look?
For daily use, there's actually a little two-line display on the front panel of the Matrix itself. Gives you quick status info.
Yeah, a little feedback.
Yeah, and it supports signal retiming, which helps maintain signal integrity, especially over longer HDMI cable runs, up to maybe 15 feet in, 50 feet out, depending on the cable quality.
Good to know for bigger spaces.
And installation is designed to be quick. Let's say it installs in minutes. The whole package comes with a switcher, the power supply, and that WolfPad IR control system. Pretty much everything you need to get going.
It really seems tailored for that sports bar scenario, but you mentioned earlier it's broader than that.
Yeah.
Where else does this kind of system really shine?
Well, the list of applications is actually quite wide.
Yeah.
Because that core problem, managing lots of screens, easily exists in so many places.
Like where?
Okay, beyond sports bars, think restaurants, casinos, bowling alleys, fitness centers, even shopping malls using digital signage.
Right, anywhere with multiple screens for information or entertainment.
Exactly. But then you also have places like houses of worship displaying lyrics, announcements, video feeds, data centers for monitoring multiple servers, gaming rooms, obviously.
Gaming rooms, yeah, I can see that.
Even places like nail salons showing different things, country clubs, factories using screens for internal info, conference rooms for presentations, schools, classrooms,
Wow.
and of course high-end home theaters, where someone might have multiple sources feeding multiple rooms or screens.
That is a surprisingly diverse list. It really drives home how simplifying that control frees people up, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It reduces stress, lets staff focus on their main job, whether that's serving drinks, teaching a class, or running a meeting, instead of being part-time AV troubleshooters.
Streamlining operations is the name of the game.
Pretty much.
And just for context, the company behind this, HDTV Supply.
Yeah, they mentioned they're a 24-year global home for audio and video products.
Yeah.
So they've been around the block in this industry.
Good to know. Established player. And the price point for this 16 by 16 system with the WolfPad?
The listed price is $3,850.
Okay. And they note that WolfPack and WolfPad are their registered trademarks.
Right. Good to be aware of.
So let's kind of wrap this up. What's the core takeaway from this deep dive?
I think what we've really unpacked is how this WolfPack system with the WolfPad control takes what seems like a really complex technical problem managing all those video feeds and screens and boils it down to a surprisingly elegant, really user-friendly solution.
Yeah.
It's a great example of how you can design sophisticated tech specifically to empower anyone, regardless of their technical background, to manage it easily.
It really does seem to turn a potentially intimidating task into just like a simple swipe on a tablet.
That's the idea.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? What other complex sort of behind-the-scenes systems that we interact with every day could really benefit from that same level of intuitive, non-technical control?
That's interesting.
I mean, how might simplifying those hidden interactions change our experiences everywhere, from the local gym's TV setup to maybe even the systems running a complex data center? Lots to think about there.
Definitely food for thought.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.